Hello, hello. Welcome to the Tech for Palestine community call. We are here for our monthly call that tells you about what's going on in Tech for Palestine. So today we're going to have a handful of people here. Afsal is going to fill us in about what's going on at marketing, as usual, along with Azza's volunteering and Mohammed talking about the incubator. We have a lot of incubator projects today, so we'll be telling you about a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be coming up in T4P. We also have Madad, which is a BDS movement in Oman that will be taking part in the incubator spotlight, and who will be talking to a little bit after probably a little bit after the hour. So the call is being recorded and streamed across social media, and we'll be sharing the slides after the call. If you want to ask questions at any time, drop them in the Discord chat, drop them in chat on whatever platform you're on, and they will find their way to us, and we will try to answer them either directly or at the end of the call. We'll go through anything that we've missed. Cool. So starting off to the organization updates. So we have a couple of small organization updates. We've gotten the slides a little bit going in the wrong direction, but we'll try to fix those. So we have a new podcast coming out from Tech for Palestine. So this is called Occupied Tech. It is run by yours truly, and we're working with Palestine Deep Dive on it, and they're helping us produce and promote and put together the content, and fantastic folks at Palestine Deep Dive. So the first episode of Occupied Tech will be with Hassam Nazar from No Azure for Apartheid. We'll be talking about Microsoft and Microsoft's complicity in the genocide and in the everything that they're doing with the IDF, and what the movement inside, or now outside Microsoft, since a lot of them got fired. The other thing to highlight is donating to T4P. We are starting to support our incubator projects with financial funding, and supporting in particular their costs and that sort of thing. And so your donations to do that are very, very welcome. So recurring donations in particular, so go to techforpalestine.org/donate to support us there. Next up, we are going to transition over to Afzal to talk about the news in tech.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Can you hear me? Great. Can we go to the first slide of the headlines, please? Okay, no one doing the slides. I think we have to go back. Yeah, one more. Yeah, here. Yeah, we're going to talk about some tech headlines, some tech affairs that occurred in the last few weeks. Starting with this one, I mean, you've seen probably when you are on social media, you receive a lot of GoFundMe links of victims of the genocide that is currently happening. But what recently happened is that dozens of GoFundMe fundraisers intended to deliver aid like food, medical supplies, tents, have seen funds frozen or even refunded, sometimes amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even after meeting all the documentation requirements of GoFundMe. And if you talk to organizers, they report that there is no clear rationale for the shutdowns, just fake emails referencing terms of service or payment partner compliance. So it's unclear, at least the motivation of GoFundMe, what they give us, that's unclear. So far they appear to disproportionately flag Palestinian campaigns. So that's happening currently with regards to GoFundMe. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. If you haven't seen it yet, last month they published this report called From Economy of Occupation to Economy of Genocide. I mean, the title of this report says it all. Francesca Albanese, famous activist. I mean, we've all seen her, and she identified over 60 major corporations that are basically complicit in this genocide, including Amazon, Google, slash Alphabet, Microsoft, IBM, Palantir, Barclays, BlackRock. If you haven't read the report yet, I recommend to do that. I mean, it's a huge reflection of how much tech influences the suffering of Palestinians today. Major conclusions is that she characterized the conflict as benefiting from an economy of genocide, argues that private companies are complicit in international crimes, and she urges states and courts to hold them accountable, including the ICC and national investigations and divestment. Next one, please. Yeah, this is an article that we published last month. It details how Google has maintained close ties for over a decade with Israeli tech companies and the military intelligence unit. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's 8,200 or 82 through acquisitions, investments, and shared staff. It basically shows how this collaboration fuels military AI and surveillance capabilities used against Palestinians. I mean, there are many examples in this article. I even learned recently, because of this article, that Google's biggest acquisition ever that was Wiz. I think it was a 32 billion purchase of this Israeli cybersecurity firm. Yeah, they're basically they have a direct influence and impact on the suffering of Palestinians today, and especially in Gaza. Then the last thing that I wanted to highlight this month is the launch of Principled. It's another company in the Tech for Palestine community. You've seen it, more and more people are quitting their jobs these days because they found out that their employer is basically complicit in apartheid, war crimes, or even genocide today. So Principled was basically launched to help these talents to find new jobs at employers who better align with their values, who respect human rights and international law. That's it for this month. Handing over back to Paul.
Thank you so much, Afzal. And if you're in the Discord, we're popping in some links there. Principal.careers is the site for those folks. Next up, we have Mohammed is going to tell us about the incubator projects that we have added this month.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul, and hope everyone can hear me and see me all right. So we've got plenty of projects this month. We have accepted and onboarded 8 new projects. This is quite a number compared to our previous stats. I'll start with Haq now. So at the heart of the enabling of the ongoing genocide today is the corruption and collusion of politicians and corporations worldwide with Zionism. This is a key enabler of genocide. So this project aims to be a WikiLeaks-like platform that exposes corruption around the world. The website allows activists and whistleblowers around the world to upload their documents and then allows you to find them against a map and even converse with AI about those documents. The word haq is an Arabic word that means right, from righteousness or correct. And if you're an English speaker, it's hack now, so it works both ways. It's a nice play on words there. Salman, the founder, is based in Canada, runs the Freedom Advocacy Group, and has been quite active with T4P community and on social media. And hopefully you can find the website for Haq Now in the chat. It's still in its early days, so take it easy while you explore the website, but it's kind of fully functional. Next in line is Mori Moral Agent. You can check out the website aichange.world. This is a website that is still work in progress, so you'll just find a big banner on there. It's not launched yet. The founder has had enough of politicians without a moral compass and believes that inaction of the masses is a major problem to resolve. They believe that most people, however, are well-intended and want to help Palestine, but usually do not know where to start, are afraid, or do not have the time or the energy to become activists. So the founder believes that AI is a solution and that it can reduce the friction between having the intent and action, obviously in a world where we're plagued with convenience. So AIChange.world will leverage things like agentic AI to help more people do things like signing petitions, contacting their MPs, boycotting, donating, protesting, essentially things that we can do today, but those will be amplified and made easier with the use of AI. To make it simple, you can think of this as an AI-powered app that acts as a research engine and an AI assistant at the same time for Palestinian activism. So that's Mori Moral Agent, has a nice melody to it. Next one is This is a List. Catchy name, but is a work in progress. The founder have not decided on whether it's final or not. The founder is a Palestinian artist who believes that in addition to boycotting Israeli brands, we can support Palestine by the opposite, by buying from Palestinian-owned businesses. The project is about creating a global, searchable directory and a mobile app for Palestinian-owned businesses, which are geotagged. You can use powerful filters to find them, and it supports online and in-person shopping. It connects communities to buy Palestinian anywhere in the world, in the founder's own words. You can check the website yourself, by the way. It's already up and running. ThisisAlist.com, one word. It already has more than 200 brands. The great thing about this project is it's crowdsourced, so you can go in and suggest a brand, or you can add a brand from your local community. I've checked this and it runs great, pretty well in my city. A lot of businesses are already listed. So moving on, the next one is Good Hood. And this is a location-aware shopping companion that highlights nearby businesses matching your value, like pro-Palestinian, ethical, or cause-driven, and it rewards you for supporting them. That's the aspect I like about it. You can link your card, earn points that are redeemable for either charity or gift cards with said businesses. And it also aims to audit your values, or does what they call a value audit, by scanning your purchases and scoring them in alignment with the campaigns that they support or with the values that they support, and even suggesting better alternatives. So very actionable, immediate recommendations that you can adopt into your daily shopping. The app is already available in some countries on both Android and iOS. You can go ahead and download it from goodhoodapp.com, all as one word. So that's two applications that help you support ethical and Palestinian businesses. Now we move to more serious stuff with Uncounted and Unseen. We've all observed how the official death tolls from Palestinians, or from Palestine, sorry, may be incomplete or even deliberately underreported, depending on the source you listen to. The founder, who happens to be an actuarial analyst with experience in data visualization and statistical analysis, not to be messed with, is set on a journey to quantify the true human cost of the war on Palestine. So this is a research project, and in the founder's own word, the project will equip human rights organizations, journalists, international bodies with credible evidence to advocate for things like ceasefires, humanitarian aid, and even legal accountability. More importantly, this project helps to preserve historical truth and resist erasure. It ensures that the lives lost are not reduced to numbers, but are documented, acknowledged, and remembered in the pursuit of justice. Moving to the next project, we have a couple of, we can call them fintech projects, quite an interesting domain. Exposing Israeli bonds. This project is in its very early stages, still in conception phase, but it aims to create a central database that details which cities or countries or states buy Israeli bonds, how much and how they're connected to our lives, i.e. is there a retirement fund or an investment fund that you're subscribed to that invests in Israeli bonds. So you can see the connection with your own investment decisions. And then spread the awareness of how intertwined Israeli bonds are to our lives and how, for the first time in recent history, this is interesting, those bonds are approaching junk status and are very likely to continue to fall. This means that they will default on their loans. Now, why is this a big deal? This can genuinely hurt Israeli economy if there's a movement to divest from Israeli bonds. Those bonds represent between 1 to 2% of the entire Israeli GDP, and this is immediate impact, but there is also long-term impact because after the war, Israel would want to recover from all of the costs, all of the money that has been burnt into the war, and they will want to issue more bonds. So if there is a movement to divest, there will be a long-term lasting effect on the Israeli economy. The next fintech-related project is Ethical Trade Fund, ETF for short, but again, a smart play on words there. This project is in its early days. It will be a simple website to check if your ETF is financing genocide. ETF is short for Exchange Traded Fund, that's the more known acronym. And those are investment funds that are traded on stock exchanges and they own financial assets such as bonds or commodities like gold or debts. Final project on our list for today is Clusi. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. The word is short for inclusive. I think it's made up by the founder. A network of artists. You can think of it as a Spotify or a Bandcamp for self-identified anti-Zionist artists, as well as artists from any underrepresented group who produce audio and visual content. This is a website that is under development. As per the founder, we hope that it sees the light by the end of this year, and it aggregates all of the audio visual content produced by those artists into a single place, promoting popular content while making it easy to search for, discover artists and music from any of those communities. Now, there are already many music discovery platforms that we all know and use out there, but none are found on humanitarian causes and diversity. Hopefully, Clusi will be the first one. So, those are the 8 projects that have been approved and onboarded for this month. You can interact with all of them through our Discord channels. There are Discord channels available. The team will put those into the chat, and you can discover them on the T4P Discord community. If you'd like to launch your own project or you think you have an idea that is valuable to help Palestine and the Palestinians, please reach out. We already have a webpage that has a list of the ideas that we would like to turn into projects. And if you already know what you'd like to do as a project, apply to our incubator. This month, by the way, we have upgraded our incubator project hub system where we manage applications and projects. I think Tom deserves another award for this one, but we just gave him one last month, so we need to wait for a bit before giving him the next one. Happy to take any questions. Please put those into chat. And I think I hand over back to Paul, is it, or to Azza?
It's over to me, but I actually have a question for you, which is your favorite of the new projects that we've added this month?
Difficult to say, but it has to be the Mori Moral Agent. I think it's a very, very challenging undertaking. So the founder is it's quite ambitious, and apparently they're extremely smart and up to the challenge.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Mohammed. That was fantastic. And now we are having Anna from Madad is coming to talk to us about her project.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Hello, everyone. This is Amna. I'm the project leader of Madad. Madad is the Arabic name. It's an acronym of 3 words: boycott, defend, and support. So Madad is incubated as a project in Tech for Palestine, even though we do not have a solution or a technical solution per se. But I thought it would be great if I can leverage the tools that Tech for Palestine offers for the projects, since we are using the technical tools or tech tools to connect with other activists and people who are advocate for Palestinian and for the boycott per se. Exactly. So we started as a small group in October 2024 and incubated in January 25 and launched Madad as a project that will lead the boycott in Oman, and basically to say loud and clear that the Omani voices can and will create the real pressure for Palestinian justice. And we will do this through our boycott, through the tool that we have in our hand, our money. So we will not procure as individuals and as companies from companies that are complicit in genocide. And when we joined the Tech for Palestine incubator, we brought this grassroots movement into the heart of a global movement. We are already connected with BDS, and with connecting with Tech for Palestine, we are leveraging this for higher impact. Next slide, please. So what drives us is our firm belief in the BDS movement. So we are the Oman's BDS voice, and we have 3 pillars. So in addition to the boycott and the divestment, we also believe that we need to defend the Palestinians' right by raising our voices, by increasing the awareness, and also support by trying to donate and help those who need our help the most. So what we do in Madad, we call on the local organizations to boycott companies that are complicit in oppression. This is as per the BDS call, but since BDS calls for the public groups to put pressure on the government, what we're trying to do in Madad is that we put the pressure also from the boardrooms, from the companies themselves, from the decision makers. So side by side, by the social media campaigns, we aim to reach the decision makers, impact them, and make them be aware of where they can also help as individuals with consciousness and as people of power in the boardrooms. What we're trying to do is not just to react to the campaigns or to the events that are happening out there. We know this is long-term battle. So we educate people, we empower them, and try to unite them online and on the ground through workshops, through community action, and through connecting with advocates who are trying with their voices online, but they need guidance to make it more impactful. So we connect with other people as well. Let's move to the next slide, please. So we connected with BDS, and BDS also connected us with PACB, the Palestinian Academic and Cultural Boycott for Israel. And we will connect with the authors, writers, poets, and academics in Oman to make an impact and to raise their voices in unity with other people, other academic and cultural movements around the world. We connected with Tech for Palestine, of course, and it opened our eyes to the global activities worldwide that are moving one step at a time towards a free Palestine. Also, we have collaborated with Gulf Can, which is the Gulf Coalition Against Normalization, and partnered with them in a campaign to boycott the top British universities that are complicit with in the genocide, basically. So, with this partnership, we are moving towards more impactful and actions that will really make impact. So, what we have done so far, we have reached to companies and shops, and they have declared themselves Zionist free, which will make the pressure comes from more than individuals only, but also at the economic level. We have increased awareness, despite that the Omani society is very pro-Palestine and they are fully believer of the boycott, but they are generally boycotting almost everything. But we are trying to increase the awareness that the targeted boycott will make more impact than the general, which is also encouraged, but we want to make it heard. We are also aligned the advocates, and with the group work, I learned that it really makes more impact than just working individually or with small groups. So we're trying to make a network, and to reach that, we launched a workshop, a series of workshops, and planning to do a reading club dedicated for the Palestinian books and culture. One important thing that I learned about raising awareness is a concept called micro-learning. I didn't know about this before, but since I learned it, I found it extremely powerful, where we break down the complex news and we make it an actionable steps for people who want to make an impact. So through the social media, we spread these micro-learnings, and we ask people to make impact by, for example, calling the companies who are dealing with the companies complicit in genocide, and sending an emails. So these are some of the technical tools that we are using. I'm moving to the next slide. The approach that Madad started with was something new, as declared by Dr. Omar al-Barghouthi, the founder, one of the co-founders of BDS in this podcast, if you can see, and one of the Al Jazeera podcasts. He said that in Oman, the businessmen and women have thought about something that the BDS movement have never thought about it before. And the boycott is coming now from the boardrooms instead of the pressure coming from bottom up. So that's creativity, that's something new. And we think that this model can be replicated anywhere in the world. And we are welcome to for anyone who wants to replicate this story. So what we want to ask from you, if you can move to the next slide, please. Follow us on our channels, follow us in Instagram and Twitter or X. We have learned so much from the incubator experience. We have received an honest feedback. Thank you, Paul. And we have learned that there is a global movement that is happening out there, and it's not us alone. In the desperate times when we thought that nothing will work, and it's really doesn't have that much impact. Being incubated in the incubator of Tech for Palestine, I learned that these steps will accumulate and to never give up the hope. I have gained confidence to lead and innovate, and this is what I have learned. Solidarity will win, and every single voice counts. So we keep escalating for Palestine, and we keep pushing. So that's what I ask you all. If you want to share this as an experience in your own community, please join Madad, learn how we do it, and spread our message, especially to the Arabic speakers, and volunteer either in Madad or any BDS group in your own community, and help us to keep Palestine present, not only as in the news or the headlines, but reading the books, listening to the music, and watching the movies. Right now, I'm watching one series, and I learned much, much more than any single book that I have read, because it stays in my head and heart. So connect with me, connect with Madad if you want to learn how I leverage the new technologies, the AI, the social media, the Canva. I didn't use these tools before, but when I use them, it leveraged the power that I can convey the message, the time, and the energy. So I'm open for any request. Connect to us either through these channels or through Discord. I want to finally give a shout out to our volunteers, Jihan, Hala, and our new co-founder, Ayat. So thank you so much. They have proved so useful, so helpful when we were running late in one of the workshops. So they stepped in and helped us modernize and make the presentation much better. So thank you to Tech for Palestine for providing this, and thank you to the team behind this community call.
Thank you so much, Amna. Some really great stuff there. And if you're building a, if you're also looking to build a BDS movement, seeing how, in particular, Amna built out her social media thing despite not knowing how to do any of that. That is a particular area that she suggested you could connect to her a bit. Amna, there was a quick question from someone in the chat. Can you explain the declaration of Zionist-free businesses?
Right.
Yeah.
So several shops have said that they will open like a hypermarket that is free of any product that is Israeli. Of course, Oman doesn't allow any Israeli product to enter, but even the companies that are complicit, for example, in the BDS list, there are companies which are not consumer, but there are other companies like Nestle or L'Oreal or these companies which, even if not in the BDS list, but they are known for their support for Israel. So that's how the shops in Oman decided they want to be Zionist-free shops or companies. For example, they are not buying HP their products. They are not associating themselves with anything related to these companies in the list or with the companies from even the countries that are supporting Israel. So to this extent, companies and businesses in Oman are trying to support Palestine.
Cool, very cool. Love to hear it. I'm a huge fan of scaling up boycotts to many of the complicit folks, and so this idea of if I would love to go shopping somewhere that was just completely Zionist free, that'd be fantastic. Okay, next up we have Azza talking about volunteering.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Amna. So lovely to hear about your amazing journey and all the amazing work that you're doing. Yeah, and thank you, Paul, Afzal, and Mohanad. Lots of cool projects happening, lots of ways to be involved with us. Certainly joining our monthly calls, joining our Discord, and if you have time, there's a lot of really cool work you can do working directly with the T4P team or these projects. It's a great way, as Emna just mentioned, to just build that community and solidarity and to really amplify our efforts. It's a lot easier to get things done when you have a whole team and network behind you, making things happening and accelerating and working alongside like-minded professionals. And so I encourage you guys, if you have the time, there's different ways to get involved, different time commitments. If you periodically have time, but not on a regular basis, we have opportunities for you to engage. If you have a more stable kind of schedule and you can volunteer and dedicate hours on a reliable basis, we absolutely have projects that would love to have that type of support, depending on your skills and backgrounds. And so it's a great way to take all of our professional experiences, our passions, our knowledge, and help accelerate these amazing projects that we're talking about. And the projects keep growing. So I think we're getting ready to push 100. We hope to be pushing 1,000 soon. And so yeah, I encourage you guys to fill out the form if you haven't already. So if you have, thank you. As projects come up, we have you in our database. If you haven't filled out the form, I encourage you to do that. Be very specific about the skills and the time, the duration, what you're able to offer. Get in our database. It's secure. You can also work anonymously if you'd like. We need to know who we're working with, but when you actually are doing work, you can do so in an anonymous manner. So it's a great way to be part of an amazing community. So I do want to share a little bit about the roles we have. Maybe if we can jump a couple of slides here. Yes, thank you. So I'm going to talk about some current needs we have. This is a need that we're going to have on an ongoing basis. And so for those that have social media skills, all types, really, our needs vary, and we try to update our website. It's being updated several times a week, and as new projects get settled in the incubator, all of a sudden the demand starts to go up as well. So I expect, these needs won't stop. When it comes to social media, we need both people that can create actual content and help us, get it out there, but also people that are just managing content that's already been created and posting it on different platforms, people that can write and help us launch, when we have a big project launch, so get some marketing and some blogs out there. We have people, we're always needing people to help us do research as we're creating content and articles. So lots of different needs. Video editors, we're doing more in that space, T4P and several of our projects. So these are types of kind of social media generalist roles that we have on an ongoing basis. In addition to that, we have a couple of specific needs for a couple of our projects, which I'll call out on the next slide here. Entrepreneurs for Palestine is actually getting ready we're launching influencers for Palestine. So this role, it's a really cool role, and it's an opportunity to help us shape and start this. It's less about creating content and more about kind of mapping out the ecosystem of who are key pro-Palestinian influencers. How do we figure out who they are? How do we connect with them? How do we engage? How do we connect them to pro-Palestinian brands? So how do we help facilitate those connections? And so this is a really cool role for us as we look at mapping this space out, similar to what we've been doing with Entrepreneurs for Palestine, Investors for Palestine. This is yet another really cool strategic arm for us. So great opportunity for someone that has time, familiar with social media, savvy, know who's who, or kind of the profile we're looking for, more so than someone that is creating content. So if that's something that's interesting, or if you know someone that would be a good fit, please reach out. The Tech for Palestine team, the community team that brings on these wonderful monthly events. They do a number of different events. They're looking for someone to help host these types of events and coordinate. There's a lot that happens when we're putting on these events, with coordinating with various speakers and connecting people. It's a great role. It's a very cross-functional role. You get to work with amazing leaders, amazing project leaders as well. So very cool role. JWalk is looking for a QA tester. So JWalk is a secure platform for activists to help mobilize and organize in a safe, secure, suppression-free way. And so they're looking for someone to help with QA testing. This is something that would be on a reoccurring basis. They have releases every couple of weeks, so it kind of would be tied to release cycles. If that's something that you're interested in supporting, please reach out. And then we have another really cool opportunity, and this is done in partnership with a few different projects. We have Zeki Kadima Education and Code School in a Box. They've launched a full stack boot camp. They have over 350 participants that have signed up. And so they're looking for technical people that have technical background that are interested in mentoring the the boot camp participants. And so we're hoping to pair people up one-on-one with the different participants to help guide them, give them information, feedback on their work and their assignments. So this is another area where I'd love to get folks, again, looking for folks that have the technical experience, professional background to support these. So lots of great ways to get involved. These projects, the needs vary, they change on a regular basis. I encourage you guys, if you're interested in supporting in whatever capacity you can, submit your volunteer application, check our website periodically to have a look and see the different jobs that we're posting. And soon we hope, hopefully in the next quarter or so, we'll have the ability to, where you guys can actually set up alerts. And so if there's a particular job function or expertise that you're interested in, we're hoping to be able to send you these jobs directly into your inbox. So lots of great ways to help. If you're interested, first thing I do is submit a form so we have you in our database. And then if you see a job you'd like, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can contact us at volunteering@techforpalestine.org. Thank you, guys and gals.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Azza. So folks, we're going to have question time before you go. But don't forget to follow us at Tech for Palestine on all of our socials. Somehow we don't have Upscrolled on here. Something to fix for next time, but you can also follow us on Upscrolled where we also have all of our content and it's not algorithmically restricted. So before we go, we are going to go through your questions. So if you have any questions about Tech for Palestine, about the projects, the new projects, for example, anything that the incubator or Tech for Palestine does, please feel free to ask them in the Discord or the YouTube or the X. I'm going to call that Twitter. X is not right. And ask those questions, and we can get some answers for you. So one question that we had here is, how are these projects bootstrapped? So a lot of these projects are just being done by volunteers. So volunteers are building the content, the campaigns. They're getting more volunteers from Tech for Palestine to build teams. It's not unusual to have 4 or 5 person teams built up pretty quickly. One of the teams, I think, is at one point 20 people. We do provide a little bit of funding. We have just started. We got our first grant made recently, which is a direction that we intend to go in a little bit more. Hence the donation link, where we've got 5 or 6 projects that are lined up to get those grants. But those largely pay for things rather than people's time. People are largely doing this either out of the goodness of their hearts, they are entirely doing it out of the goodness of their hearts and for Palestine. Although we do support a handful of startups, but that's probably less than 10% of the organizations in Tech for Palestine that we're supporting are startups. About 90% are really just groups of people who are trying to support a liberated Palestine. I'm just looking through the rest of the questions that are coming through here. If you have any question, please drop them into the chat, any of the chats. And I'm not seeing any more questions. All right, so I see one question here. How do you ensure clean funding? That's a very, very difficult one. A lot of the projects that we're working with in some way or another are doing some way of validating, is some segment of society connected to Zionist funding. and probably the most famous of those is Boycat, but Ethics VC is doing similar work around the venture capital ecosystem. The Wall is doing boycotting related to Israel in your browser. A lot of those are it is difficult to see where the Zionist funding is. Sometimes the foundations that you work with or universities that you're working with that are seem to be pro-Palestine themselves have funding or have investments into Israel. Recently learned that Ireland, which everyone thinks of as being extremely pro-Palestine, the government, or I'm not sure exactly what the central bank perhaps, was involved in the sales of not just buying Israeli bonds, but was enabling the sales of Israeli bonds in Europe. So that was pretty shocking. One question I see here from Dimitri: can you talk a bit more about Principled? So Principled.careers is it is an offshoot of Apricot. So Apricot was our hiring initiative to help Palestinians get hired in tech. And so Palestinians mostly in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, Gaza, of course, and also Gazan refugees in Cairo were supported in getting jobs remotely in US tech companies. However, they also found that for companies that wanted people, that weren't hiring remotely and wanted people directly to work in their offices, that there was a need for that, and from good companies, people who were anti-Zionist and were allowing pro-Palestine speech in their organizations and all that sort of thing. And they wanted to get connected to activists. So activists who got fired from Google, from Meta, from Microsoft, all these really good technical engineers and senior people and that sort of thing were getting fired for their Palestine advocacy. And so they connected with Principled to help those folks get jobs. So if you're looking for, you want to leave your company's Zionist, or you just want to work at a company that is anti-Zionist, or that believes in humanity and is against genocide and all that sort of thing, Principled can get you connected to those companies. I think they work in the US, Canada, and the UK. I could be wrong about that. But that is my sense of what they're doing, and you can go to Principled.careers to connect to them. Another question I see coming in here: how do you foresee a ceasefire end to the current genocide affecting projects? Well, that's interesting. Obviously, we hope for a genocide any day now. There's a question of like how will the end to the sort of immediate crisis lead to a reduction in the Palestine movement. And we actually had an experiment in this in the first ceasefire that stuck for about 3 months before Israel broke it. That was earlier this year. And we actually saw no reduction in people talking about Palestine. We saw no reduction in there's a brief reduction in protests, and that came back up pretty quickly afterwards. But in terms of projects that were working here, people were still doing the work, projects were still applying. We didn't see a dip really in anything. And for most of the projects, we asked them when they apply how committed they are. And most of them are saying, they're this is something that they're committed on long term. Ultimately, I don't think Palestine is going to be free until we end Zionism. We end the Zionist movement. We, shut it down, like happened to Nazis in Germany after World War II. And I think that's going to be the same here. The really need to remove Zionism from every part of society in order for there to be, proper human rights around the world and in Palestine. And all of the organizations that we work with are anti-apartheid, anti-occupation, and it is far more. In fact, I wouldn't say there's anyone who's specifically focused on a ceasefire. that that there's lots of education initiatives which tangentially support learning about Palestine, which informs people about the need for a ceasefire. And of course, there are projects that focus on the protest movement and that kind of thing. But for the most part, almost everything we do is targeted at long-term ending the occupation and liberating Palestine. Then one more question. Are Cluzy looking for volunteers already? Sorry if that was already mentioned. With any of our projects, there are channels in the Discord where you can connect with them. So drop your name in there, connect to the Cluzy founder. I don't know if they are yet looking for projects. They are, yet looking for volunteers. But it's always nice to say hello, make a connection, even if they're not looking for volunteers now. They might be looking for volunteers in a couple of weeks or something like that. So for sure, reach out to them, and you can do that in the Discord. Every project has a channel there. Okay, so that is the end of the questions. Thank you everyone for coming. Very much appreciate you attending, hearing about projects, hearing about Tech for Palestine. Don't forget to volunteer, follow us on socials, and if you can, donate. Thanks so much.